Hey everyone, and welcome back to KenkoVibe, your daily dose of health insights. I'm Ethan Reed,
And I'm Grace Morgan.
and today we're doing a deep dive into something that's pretty popular online right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the whole connection between caffeine and testosterone levels.
Interesting.
We found some pretty interesting research on it. I think you'll find it pretty interesting.
Okay, I'm all ears.
All right, so lots of people online are claiming that caffeine can boost your testosterone levels.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any truth to that?
Well, actually, yeah, there is some evidence that shows a connection between drinking coffee regularly and having higher testosterone.
Really?
Yeah. For example, there was this study done in 2012 that showed men who drank caffeinated coffee had higher serum testosterone.
Serum testosterone.
Yeah, basically, it's the testosterone that's floating around in your blood and ready for your body to use.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And they also had lower levels of estradiol, which is a type of estrogen.
Interesting. So you're saying that my morning cup of coffee might be doing more than just waking me up.
Exactly. It could be helping your hormone levels too.
Wow, that's pretty cool, I gotta say.
Yeah, and the way it works is actually pretty fascinating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there's this molecule in our blood called sex hormone binding globulin, or SHBG for short.
SHBG.
Yeah, and basically it acts as a chaperone for hormones like testosterone.
Okay.
It binds to testosterone, which makes it harder for your body to actually use it.
So it's like SHBG is controlling how much testosterone is actually available.
Yeah, exactly, like a bouncer at a club.
Haha. I like that analogy.
So
Yeah.
the interesting thing is that caffeine can actually bind to SHBG.
Oh, so it like tricks it.
Yeah, it's like a decoy. So then there's more free testosterone that can circulate and do its thing.
Wow. So caffeine's like sneaking the testosterone past the bouncer.
Pretty much.
That's amazing. So all the coffee lovers out there can rejoice.
Right.
But what about people who can't handle caffeine? Are they just out of luck?
That's a good question because, yeah, caffeine isn't for everyone.
Right.
Some people are sensitive to it and might get like higher blood pressure or have trouble sleeping.
Yeah, or even get like super anxious.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So what about those people?
Yeah. Are there any other ways to boost testosterone naturally without caffeine?
There are. Have you heard of stimulant-free natural testosterone boosters?
Stimulant-free?
Yeah, so they're designed to help your body produce more testosterone, but without using any stimulants like caffeine.
Okay. So that's a good option for people who don't do caffeine.
Exactly.
Interesting. I'm curious to learn more about these stimulant-free boosters.
Yeah.
What makes them different?
Well, instead of caffeine, they use a mix of natural ingredients that have been studied and shown to gradually increase testosterone levels.
So they're like all natural.
Yeah, and because they don't have any stimulants, you can take them any time of day and not worry about it messing with your sleep.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what kind of ingredients are we talking about here?
Well, two of the most common ones are arginine and citrulline.
Wait, those sound familiar.
Yeah.
Aren't those amino acids?
You got it.
Oh, yeah. I remember learning about those in like a biology class years ago.
They play a really important role in a lot of bodily functions, including producing nitric oxide.
Nitric oxide. Now that you mention it, I think I read something about that being important for blood flow.
That's right. Nitric oxide is a vasodilator, which means it widens your blood vessels so blood can flow better.
Okay, so better blood flow, but how does that relate to testosterone?
Well, the testes are where testosterone is mainly produced, and they need good blood flow to work properly.
So it's like giving the factories the raw materials they need to make more testosterone.
Precisely. That's why arginine and citrulline are such popular ingredients in these stimulant-free testosterone boosters.
That makes sense.
They help with healthy blood flow, which in turn creates a better environment for your body to produce testosterone.
Wow. It's crazy how these things are all connected.
It is. The human body is so complex.
It really is.
And there are so many factors that can affect our hormone levels.
So it's not just about lifting weights and eating steak.
Exactly.
There's a lot more to it.
Yeah, it's like a whole intricate system.
So it sounds like it's important to take a more holistic approach if you really want to optimize your health.
Absolutely. And to remember that everyone's body is different.
Right. So what works for one person might not work for someone else.
Exactly. You really need to listen to your own body and understand what it needs.
Okay, so we've talked about these stimulant-free testosterone boosters. Can you give us some specific examples?
Yeah. Earlier I mentioned Testofuel, Testogen, and Prime Male.
Right. So let's start with Testofuel. What makes it stand out?
Well, Testofuel is known for its comprehensive formula.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it combines a bunch of different ingredients that are thought to support testosterone production, like D-aspartic acid, vitamin D, oyster extract, and fenugreek.
And it also has those amino acids we were talking about.
Yes. Arginine and citrulline for healthy blood flow.
Okay, wow. That sounds like a pretty powerful combination.
It is.
All right, and what about testogen? How is that one different?
Testogen also uses natural ingredients, but it has a slightly broader approach.
Okay.
It tries to support testosterone, but also improve energy levels, mood, and libido.
Oh, wow. So it's kind of like an all-in-one men's health formula.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. And what about Prime Male? What's special about that one?
Prime Male is designed specifically for men over 30.
Okay.
We're starting to experience that natural age-related decline in testosterone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It includes things like D-aspartic acid boron and nettle root extract, which can help counteract that decline.
So it's like a targeted approach for men who are dealing with aging.
Exactly.
That's interesting. I'm sure our listeners are starting to understand all the different options out there for supporting their testosterone naturally.
I hope so. And it's important to remember that these are just a few examples.
Right.
There are lots of other stimulant-free testosterone boosters on the market.
Yeah. So it's always a good idea to do your own research, look at different products, and maybe even talk to your doctor to find the best one for you.
Definitely.
There's no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to health.
You're absolutely right.
Okay, so before we move on, let's do a quick recap of what we've talked about so far.
Sounds good.
We started by looking at the link between caffeine and testosterone and how caffeine can actually increase those levels.
Right, because it binds to SHBG.
Exactly. Then we talked about stimulant-free testosterone boosters, which are a natural way to support testosterone production without the caffeine jitters.
And we talked about some key ingredients like arginine and citrulline.
Yeah, those are important for healthy blood flow. And most importantly, we emphasize that it's all about finding what works best for you and your own personal needs.
Exactly. Whether you choose caffeine or a stimulant-free booster, the most important thing is to listen to your body.
I think that's a great place to wrap up this part of our deep dive. We'll be back in a moment to continue our exploration of caffeine and testosterone boosters.
Looking forward to it.
So stay tuned.
All right. Welcome back, everyone.
We're jumping right back into our deep dive on caffeine and testosterone.
Yeah. Where did we leave off?
We were talking about those stimulant-free testosterone boosters.
Oh, right.
But before we get back to those, let's talk a little bit more about the benefits of caffeine.
Okay, sure.
Besides the potential testosterone boost, what else is good about it?
Oh, caffeine is a stimulant, right? So it's really good for helping you feel more alert and focused.
Yeah, and more energized too.
Exactly. It can even boost your athletic performance and improve your mood.
I can definitely attest to that. My morning coffee is like a brain fog remover.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's like a superpower.
Totally. But I gotta be
So-
real, caffeine isn't all good, right?
It's important to acknowledge the downsides, too.
Yeah, like some people are super sensitive to it.
Oh, yeah?
I know people who can't even have a little bit of coffee without getting all jittery and anxious.
Yeah, and too much caffeine can cause problems like high blood pressure, insomnia, headaches, and even digestive issues.
Yeah, that's no fun.
So moderation is key.
Definitely listen to your body and figure out what works for you.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered the good and the bad of caffeine. Let's switch back to those stimulant-free testosterone boosters.
Okay.
What are the benefits of those?
Well, the biggest one is that you don't have to deal with the potential side effects of caffeine.
Yeah, that's a big plus for a lot of people.
Right, especially those who are sensitive to stimulants.
Exactly. And what else?
Well, another great thing is that a lot of these boosters have ingredients that can do more than just boost testosterone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They can also help with things like sleep quality, stress levels, and even prostate health.
Wow, so it's like a holistic approach to men's health.
Exactly. It's not just about testosterone, it's about overall well-being.
I like that.
Yeah.
And since they're stimulant-free, you can take them whenever you want.
Right, exactly. No more worrying about that late-night coffee keeping you up.
Which is huge because sleep is so important.
It really is.
Now, it's important to remember that these boosters aren't a quick fix, right?
Right, they're not magic.
They work gradually over time.
Exactly. They're designed to support your body's natural processes.
So it's more about providing long-term sustainable support.
Yeah, it's like giving your body the tools it needs to do its own thing.
Patience is key.
Exactly. It's like a plant, you need to give it time to grow.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm.
So we've talked about caffeine and stimulant-free boosters. The big question is, which one is better?
Yeah, that's the question everyone wants to know.
And I'm guessing there's no easy answer.
You got it. It really depends on you.
Right, because everyone's different.
Exactly what works for one person might not work for another.
So if you can handle caffeine and
Yeah.
you like the energy boost it gives you,
Yeah.
then maybe that's the way to go.
Right, but if you're sensitive to caffeine or you want something that's more well-rounded, then maybe a stimulant-free booster is a better choice.
So it all comes down to finding what works best for you and your lifestyle.
Exactly.
And of course, it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor before making any big changes.
Definitely they can give you personalized advice.
Okay, so let's do a super quick recap.
Okay.
We talked about how caffeine can increase testosterone because it messes with SHBG.
Right.
Then we talked about stimulant-free testosterone boosters, which are a natural way to support testosterone without the caffeine,
And we learned about some key ingredients.
like arginine and citrulline.
Mm-hmm.
And the main takeaway is to figure out what works best for you.
Exactly. Listen to your body and make informed decisions.
Well said. I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about.
I hope so.
And with that, we'll be back in a moment with some final thoughts and key takeaways.
Stay tuned.
All right, we are back for the final part of our KenkoVibe deep dive.
Yeah, time flies when you're talking about testosterone.
It really does.
Oh,
So let's wrap things up with some key takeaways. What are the main points you want our listeners to remember?
well, I think the biggest one is that research does show caffeine can actually have a positive effect on testosterone levels.
It's true. Our morning coffee might be doing more than we thought.
Right, and it's because caffeine can bind to SHBG, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that leaves more testosterone free to move around in the body.
Exactly. But of course, it's important to be mindful of how much caffeine you're taking.
Right. You don't want to overdo it.
Yeah, some people might experience side effects like higher blood pressure or trouble sleeping if they have too much.
Definitely something to be aware of.
And for those who can't have caffeine or just choose not to, there's always those stimulant-free natural testosterone boosters.
Right. We talked about those earlier.
Yeah, they can be a great way to support healthy testosterone levels without the caffeine jitters.
And they often come with other health benefits too.
Exactly, like improved sleep quality or reduced stress.
Like a win-win.
So ultimately, it comes down to personal preference and what works best for your body.
Exactly. Whether you go for caffeine or a stimulant-free booster, it's all about making an informed choice.
And don't forget to talk to your doctor if you have any questions or concerns.
Always a good idea. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's that one big question you want our listeners to think about?
Well, we talked a lot about how caffeine can directly impact testosterone,
Right.
but it makes you wonder what other everyday habits might be affecting our hormones without us even realizing it.
That's a great point.
Yeah, like maybe our sleep patterns or stress levels or even the food we eat could be playing a role.
It's definitely something to think about.
It's all about being mindful and making choices that support our overall well-being.
Well said, Grace. I think this has been a really informative deep dive.
I agree. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us on KenkoVibe, your daily dose of health insights. I'm Ethan Reed.
And I'm Grace Morgan.
Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to like, comment, and share this episode with your friends. Stay healthy, everyone.